Good morning guys from Liverpool and Queen Square bus station, which I've never been to before in my life, but today I'm hoping to catch a bus from here all the way up to Preston, a journey of around about just over 2 hours, and it's the X2 service run by Stagecoach. And yeah, I've just been into the travel centre here, the Mersey Travel Centre. They can't sell me a ticket because the one I'm after, the Lancashire Day Ranger or something like that, and that's sold by the other bus company apparently. So I'm just gonna have to buy it on the bus by the sounds of it, which is fine, isn't it? But yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll do anything once. So we'll see how it goes, shall we? And yeah, hopefully I will see you on the bus in around about half an hour's time. Cheers for now. Yeah, so here's the Mersey Travel Centre, which is also shared with the Greggs. So I guess you can get your tickets and buy a sandwich prior to boarding the bus, which is handy. Now, although I couldn't buy a ticket here for my journey, it did provide a handy refuge from some weirdo tramp-like character that had seen me filming and proceeded to follow me around, muttering inaudibly whilst taking pictures of me on his phone. Yeah, so I don't know why either, but yeah, it takes all sorts, I guess. Anyway, stand 11 was the departure point for today's X2 service, and a quick look at the timetable here. You'll see that the bus runs roughly about every hour, with some extra services during peak times in the week. And on the day of my trip we were using the Saturday service, and the next bus to arrive would be the 11:42. About 10 minutes prior to departure, our bus kind of arrived, but then drove straight past, so I'm assuming it had dropped off passengers somewhere. Then it went round the streets for a bit, because when it did pull onto the stand, the destination display had changed to show Preston instead of Liverpool. With a Stagecoach fleet number of 15297, Google tells me this is a 5-year-old Scania Alexander Dennis Enviro 400 MMC. Hi mate, can I buy a Lancashire Day Ranger, is it? £8.51? Cheers. Thank you, sir. Yes, so I'm assuming this was a required ticket, as the driver printed one off for me and took my money with minimal interaction. So it must have been the right thing to ask for. Yeah, I was the first of about half a dozen passengers to board here, and made my way upstairs to the front of the bus. The first impressions were, yeah, nice and clean and tidy. But I couldn't really see out the front or side windows from this location, so I decided to move back a few rows and sit in this spacious table seat, which had much better visibility outside. Interestingly, the stop request button was built into the tabletop. Legroom was superb actually, and the whole area really did have a great sense of spaciousness. And you know what, I was just expecting a normal bus really. I mean, it's certainly not something I perceived to be as luxurious as this one. And opposite my seat were double seats with a smaller fixed table that had USB charging points on the top. And I would later move to one of these seats, as I did need to charge my stuff up. Outside it was a pretty dull day, to be honest, but we left on time and we made our way through the streets of Liverpool, stopping occasionally to pick up and drop off passengers. And I got the sense at this point that most people were using the bus just to travel short distances rather than the whole route. There were some interesting views from the top deck, and I always think that being up here gives you a totally different perspective on things, especially when travelling through the city streets. What do you prefer, top deck or bottom? Let me know in the comments below. As I said, I moved over to the other side of the bus and plugged some of my cables in. And not all the USB points on this bus were functioning, but the ones that were had the little blue light illuminated, as you would expect. Now I must say, the bus was a bit bumpy through the city streets, but yeah, I guess that comes with the territory a bit, doesn't it? But yeah, here's a question for you, right? Is it affected by the number of passengers on the bus? I.e., if it's lighter, does that make it a rougher ride? Again, if you've got any idea on this, then yeah, please let me know. I tried out the Stagecoach Wi-Fi, which connected easily, and yeah, it was pretty good. It almost connected to YouTube live streaming and downloaded social media images reasonably quickly. Upload speeds weren't great, but yeah, overall, it was a facility that was provided, free of charge, that did actually work. So yeah, well done Stagecoach for that. So another view of the airline style seating here, and again legroom is really good. On the top deck of this bus you've got 24 of these type of front facing seats, And then you've got 12 table seats, 3 tables, and 5 seats along the back row. And I must say, these e-leather seats, as Stagecoach like to call them, didn't only look comfortable, they were comfortable. And as you can see, I had the whole top deck of the bus to choose from at this point of the journey. We'd left Liverpool now and we're heading northwest on the A565, passing through Formby and Birkdale before arriving at what I guess is the most significant town en route, Southport. Enjoy the scenery, and I'll catch you again at what will be pretty much the halfway point of the journey. Well, yeah, I just decided to get off at Southport, where the bus stops for about 4 minutes. No reason really, other than, yeah, just have a little look around. I know there's another bus in about 50 minutes time going up to Preston, so I'll get on that one and then give you a bit of an idea of what it's like to travel on the lower deck, I think. So yeah, I'm just going to have a bit of a mooch around here now for a bit, and I'll see you on this second bus. Yeah, and then you've got this... Yeah, so I thought I'd go and have a look at the sea, which was miles away. And then it started raining again. And to be honest, after about half an hour, I just had enough of it. And so I decamped to a nearby Costa, where I had a coffee and a massive piece of chocolate cake. And after that, I headed back to the bus stop on Lord Street, where I had a couple of minutes before the next X2 service arrived. Right guys, so yeah, went and had a little look at Southport and got myself a coffee. And I'm just waiting now for the X2, the next X2 to turn up. With that bus thing there. They stay here for about 4 minutes, I think, if they're on time. And yeah, I'm going to get on that, and we're going to go all the way to Preston. So I'll see you again on the bus. Okay, so the next bus arrived right on time, and like I said, I thought I'd sit on the lower deck for a bit, where we have a combination of front and rear facing seats. Some with headrests and some without, and 3 lateral seats opposite an accessible space for wheelchairs. Anyway, look at this, right, underneath the USB port there was a reading light. Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, small things, I know, but yeah, really well thought out, I thought. We left Southport on time, and yeah, I really like the canopies over the shop fronts here. Reminded me a bit of Llandudno, actually, and yeah, of course on a day like this it keeps the rain off the window gazers, doesn't it? Anyway, I'll move back upstairs at this point, just because there are much better views, and yeah, passing through the outskirts of the town, there were some really nice houses here too. And we emerged into countryside again, and yeah, whilst the windows were starting to mist up a bit, I had my handy defogging equipment with me to deal with it. Incidentally, the driver said I was the only person he'd ever seen who'd wiped their feet before getting on a bus. I thought it was just a polite thing to do, you know, it's a lovely bus and all that, let's show it a bit of respect. We turned inland past the village of Banks. Well, I say inland as if we'd been running along the coast all the way, but to be honest, never really saw the sea. Maybe on a clear day you could, but yeah, just before Banks I reckon. I might have caught a glimpse of it, but nothing more than that. On the home straight now though, about 35 minutes left to run. Okay, so as you can see, we were just coming into Preston now. So yeah, just enough time to tell you a few other things about the trip. Well, as I said at the start, I bought an adult Lancashire Day Ranger, which cost me £8.50 and gave me unlimited bus rides in the Lancashire area, but also included this X2 service all the way down to Liverpool. Time normally takes about 2 hours and a bit in the day to cover the 40-odd mile route, and I'm sure you know this, but worth mentioning anyway, there are no toilet facilities on these buses. We pulled onto stand, and I got my stuff together and descended the stairs onto the concourse. It had been raining for most of the day, but it did look like it was holding off slightly as I began mentally preparing myself for another hour and a bit's bus trip down to Ormskirk. But before I did that, I wandered outside and just took a couple of minutes to sum up my thoughts about the journey and the bus. Okay guys, Preston bus and coach station. I've just arrived here on the Stagecoach X2 service all the way from Liverpool city centre, taking, just a bit over 2 hours via Southport. But overall it was a pretty nice trip. The bus in particular was great, it was comfortable, and there was working Wi-Fi and a USB provision. Let me know your thoughts. Have you ever done this trip? I'd be interested to know. Comment below as per usual guys, and in the meantime I'm going to be heading back down to Ormskirk now, and then on to Liverpool and Chester, and then back to Shrewsbury. So thank you very much for watching. I shall catch you on another adventure soon, and as always guys, cheers for now.